My name is Michelle Shumate, and I'm a professor at Northwestern University, and I'm here to talk about networks for social impact.
And I'm Oliver Vila, and I am in 5th grade.
I'm Allison Kassler, and I'm a Northwestern undergraduate student.
My name is Pei Xinhua, and I'm a master's student at Northwestern University.
My name is Alan. I am the Director of Compliance and Organizational Effectiveness for a Fair Housing Agency.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mosley. I'm a faculty member at the Crown Family School of Social Work, Policy, and Practice at the University of Chicago.
So what else should people know about you, Oliver? Should they know that you're my son?
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what do you actually know about what I do?
Not much.
Not much. So I do research on how organizations work together to make a bigger social impact than they could have by just working in their own organization.
What problems exactly is social impact about?
It's about trying to help people meet some of their needs. So like when you volunteer with Scouts or with church and you're trying to feed people because you're helping to pack up food packs, that's a group that's trying to make a social impact. They're trying to reduce hunger. Or, the group at school they have called the Zero Waste Group, right? They don't want the food to go to the landfills. They want all of that lunch stuff to go and get recycled. And so they're trying to prevent there from being pollution.
I'd like to know how networks make a bigger social impact than individual organizations do.
That's a really great question because networks actually take a lot of time and they take a lot of resources to run. So you want them to pay off. And the way that we think about network activities translating into social impact is through something called a theory of change. And a theory of change just means what's the model that leads from activities to social impact. That's the whole deal. And there are 5 ways that happens, or 5 common theories of change. Project-based is when organizations put together resources or activities and they create a joint program. Advocacy is when they work together to advocate for a legislative change or for some kind of regulatory change. Sometimes they also go into doing lawsuits in order to make those changes happen. Learning is really all about when they want to get together and learn from one another, so they're getting better at what they already do as a result of their activities. Catalyst is when they want to scale up those activities, so they might have something that works great locally, but then they want to take it nationally or internationally. And then systems alignment is all about trying to coordinate existing programs and services to have better coverage so that you don't have too many programs concentrated on one geography, and also so that they work together.
So is social impact always the end goal for change makers?
Not always. Sometimes what a network of organizations is really after is benefiting the organizations in the network. And so they're not really external facing, they're internal facing. So sometimes networks get together and form like a back office cooperative. And basically that's to get together to reduce the cost of some of the things that each organization is paying for. So they might go in on joint insurance and try to reduce premiums that way, or sometimes they get together and they buy office supplies, and so by joint purchasing they can reduce the cost for everybody. And then sometimes they just want the organizations to be better by going in on professional development together. So the whole cooperative might get together and learn more about how to do fundraising or how to do some types of grant management. And so everybody gets better, but it's not necessarily about an external facing social impact.
Dr. Shumate, how can we use evidence of social impact success to validate our own practices?
I think it's really important for network leaders to have a kind of a briefcase of stories of networks that have made a social impact and have the data behind it to show that they did. Many times when you bring leaders together to form a network, they're really skeptical. They've seen collaborations come and go. They wonder, can you actually ever move the needle? And so being able to pull out some of those stories, talk about things like Agewell Pittsburgh, who's moved the needle for seniors in Allegheny County, or to be able to talk about networks that have done this in the collective impact movement, for example. Those kinds of stories can help to assure leaders that all of this effort and all of these meetings actually are going to pay off.
So how can researchers best collaborate on this moving forward?
I think that's when one of the areas that's kind of motivated us to write the book is that we saw a lot of the research on networks for social impact scattered across multiple journals and different disciplines. There's a lot of researchers who are doing this work, but they're not talking to one another because they might be in a business school and another one's in a public management school and another one might be in a communication school, right? So part of the thing that I think that has to happen going forward is that across these different disciplines we have to come together and develop some shared language so that we can build on each other's findings. But more than that, I hope that this work that we're doing actually has a bridge built out to network leaders themselves. One of the things that I know I find when I'm talking to students or network leaders is they're not aware of all of this research out there on how to best structure a network to make a social impact. And I think that as academics who are studying this issue, we have a lot to say to the public about how to set up these networks best so that they actually move the needle on some of the biggest social issues of our time.